Hey everyone, I am back in the US finally, after spending about 4 weeks away from home. First I was in Cuba, then I went to New Jersey / the New York area, then Alfred and I flew from there to France. We stayed a lot of time in the Alps, and then we spent a little bit of time in Paris. I am super happy to be home actually. I actually missed home, and for now I am glad to be here. One of the main reasons is because of this little fellow right here, Fiero. It's my kitty, the cat that my mother gave me for Christmas about 2 years ago, or maybe 1 year ago. Anyways, I love him very much. He's a big boy, and I missed him, and he's probably going to try to knock that camera off of the place where I'm recording. But anyways, the main reason I'm making this video is because I want to keep the vlogs going, because I think they're pretty cool, and it seems like it's being well received by you all, which is fantastic. So I guess for this one I want to kind of discuss the trip home. It was anything but stress-free. So it started off kind of crazy. We got up about 5 in the morning, and our Uber that we scheduled came and picked us up from our Airbnb. On the way to the airport, I fell asleep, of course, because it was really early, and I hear this loud, crashing sound, and I'm like, what in the hell is happening? So, of course, I'm waking up, I'm kind of panicked, and I look over, and Alfred's like, he's also panicked, because basically, something slams into his window on his side. The window is completely shattered, just into tiny little pieces, and we're not sure what it was. I thought that we had been shot at, which is really weird, because right before that, about 10 or 15 minutes before that, a homeless guy came up to our car and started messing with the windows. So of course, in my paranoid mind, I connected the two. But Alfred says that he doesn't think we got shot at. I still think we did, but who knows. We made it to the airport and everything's fine. We actually get through security pretty fast, and we get to the other side. We go to get breakfast, and the service there, it was just terrible. It took forever. We had to rush to eat our food. We get on our plane, and everything's fine. Everything's great. I'm watching a movie, and then I realize that the person behind me is just gonna keep kicking my seat. So for about 6 hours, the person behind me continuously kicked my seat. And I don't understand that. It's probably one of my biggest pet peeves on planes is when grown-ass men and women cannot just act like adults and stay still. They have to continuously move, and they have to keep hitting the seat, which is very extremely inconvenient to, the other paying customers on the plane. Anyways, I kept sort of venting to Alfred, but I didn't lose it, which was really cool, and because I'm not known for not losing my shit when something's going wrong like that. And Alfred was pretty proud of me for that, I think. Then when we arrived to the United States, we go through customs where we have global entry, the both of us, so we should theoretically make it through very fast, except that it was completely chaotic. It was very hard to tell what was going on. Everyone was completely lost in this situation. We still made it out through in about 10 minutes, which is way faster than the normal customs line, but it could have gone a lot smoother. We get through, we go to the counter to check into our next flight, because we kind of booked our flights separately so that we could get a cheaper deal. I get to the counter to check into my flight, and Alfred's checking our bags, and the lady mentions that we're getting on a flight that's 5 hours from the time we're checking in right now. And we're like, yeah, well, that's just, that's the flight that we have. So the Delta Airlines employee offers to switch us to an earlier flight. And we say, yeah, we that would be great if we could get home 5 hours earlier. That would be fantastic, because who wants to sit in the airport for 5 hours? And because of Alfred's status with Delta, she says that she'll do it for us. She offered it to us. We did not ask for this. She offered it to us, and so she prints us out new boarding passes and everything, and so we have about 45 minutes to make it to our gate so that we can get on this earlier flight to come home instead of waiting till way later. We go, make it through airport security. We have TSA pre-check, but of course at JFK they shut down the TSA pre-check lines after a certain hour, which is ridiculous. And then of course going through security, the TSA agents are screaming at us. They're telling me to do this and that and the other, which, come on, I travel enough. I know exactly how to make it through the security line. I end up losing it with the security guy briefly. I just tell him that I know what I'm doing, and if he could just back off, it would go a lot smoother. He does back off. We get through. Alfred's bag ends up getting flagged, and because we had mustard in the bag, which we bought in France, we've forgotten about. So they rub his bag down to make sure that there's no explosives or whatever in there, and then we go through. We get to the gate, it's loading. Alfred and I get in line to go to the gate. Alfred's ticket scans perfectly fine to go onto the plane. My ticket does not. Basically, the lady didn't put me on the flight, even though she had just switched my ticket. So now I'm not on the later flight, I'm not on the earlier flight, I'm just there. And of course, this starts becoming a situation where we're a little bit concerned. I figure, okay, they're gonna fix this because this is their fault, obviously. They're gonna go ahead and put me on this flight. Well, the gate agent there, she decides to start telling me that, oh, my previous ticket was a ticket marked E, which is the lowest class ticket that you can buy, which is fine. I really don't care. Usually, I mean, it doesn't matter. Alfred and I had a later flight, and they offered us the earlier flight. So we said, yeah, we would take it. But she kept on saying that to me. Like, she kept saying, oh, your ticket, it's one of the lowest class tickets possible, and we can't do anything for you for this one. And I'm kind of telling her, like, this is your fault though. This is Delta's fault. Can you please fix this? Anyways, because this video is getting long, basically what it comes down to is we start having a sort of hollering match there at the gate, which is ridiculous. And the lady then says, fine, we'll put you on this flight, but we're doing you a favor, even though it's their fault that there's this mix-up to begin with, and it's their fault that I'm not on a flight, even because I had a flight from earlier. So she's sitting there trying to paint this as them doing me a favor, that Delta Airlines is doing me a favor. In fact, Delta Airlines is the one that messed everything up to begin with. She says, we're gonna put you on this flight, but we're gonna charge you $75. So at this point, Alfred and I are just like, whatever, we just need to get home. So we pay the $75, and it felt really wrong because it felt as though Delta Airlines first took me off of my other flight, told me they were putting me on another one, this is what they offered, and then they didn't do that. And then they charged me $75 to get onto the flight that they said they put me on to begin with. And they just kept going on and on about how my ticket wasn't capable of doing that. And I'm just like, you know, I didn't ask you guys to do this, you offered to do this, and now it feels as though you're robbing us. You tricked us into having to pay you $75. We would have just taken the later flight in that situation. So anyways, it was a really extremely stressful situation. I felt very taken advantage of by Delta Airlines, and I usually love to fly with Delta, but it just felt so wrong how they treated me and how they treated Alfred. And yeah, it did feel like they robbed us. But anyway, I'm home, and I did tweet at Delta. They responded, so I'm going to send them, you know, my account of what happened, and hopefully Delta Airlines comes through and does the right thing, takes responsibility for their mistake, and you know, makes it better. But I'll update you on that when that happens. It's just very annoying. All right, well, I guess I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.